Today I'm having coffee with Christi Kilroy, a very familiar face in our community. And Christi, we could, of course, talk about the Chamber because you are the Chamber. You know everything about the Chamber. We associate the Chamber with you. We see you. We think of the Chamber. But really, there are lots of other things that I want to talk to you about today.
Okay.
I know that you were recently named by the Mississippi Business Journal as one of the top 50 businesswomen in the state of Mississippi. And somehow that just really stayed under the radar here.
Right.
And I really can't think of anyone who's more deserving of that. And I know that you don't necessarily really want to talk about that because you feel like you're tooting your own horn, but we are very interested to hear about it. We're proud of you. I'm excited for you. Tell me.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And it's an honor. It really is. And I guess the best part of that whole program, as you mentioned, Mississippi Business Journal does this program every year. And I was nominated and chosen as one of the top 50. And when I got there, it's just so amazing to be around so many accomplished women, so many people that are working on behalf, for their own business, but yet so many of them give back. And it was just a fantastic opportunity to meet others and get a little acknowledgement. It's always nice to be acknowledged.
Sure.
And we worked.
So was it actually an event?
Well, they had two events, actually. Actually, there's been a series of events in conjunction with this honor. It kicked off with an overnight event at the Eagle Ridge Conference Center where we started. We were all picked up in limousines, which was fantastic. From there, we went in groups with these other wonderful women to a wine tasting and then to a wonderful dinner, and kind of went around Jackson and did a few things around Jackson area, and then came back to Eagle Ridge, got up the next morning, had a wonderful breakfast, and then got a chance to spend a day and had breakout sessions, if you will, or training sessions with some motivational speakers. We got to meet other past honorees, which were great, that came back to volunteer their time and talk about what it meant to them and how great it was. And then we had a wonderful lunch where we received a beautiful, I should have brought my plaque, because it's really nice. It's in my office. You'll have to check it out.
Okay.
We were presented with a plaque, and it was just nice. And they partnered with the Mississippi Economic Council, which is a big fan of the State Chamber, Mississippi Economic Council, and Blake Wilson and Kathy Northington and that group over there. They're a sponsor of it every year. And so it was a nice day. That's how we kicked it off, which really was, and then they gave us a nice farewell basket, but it was a bag and it had all kinds of gifts and so forth in it. So not quite the same list as the Academy Awards, but closing in on that. I mean, they made us feel so special. And
did you walk the red carpet?
No, there was no red carpet, but we did just really connect. It was great. And so that's how it started. And then there were several other smaller sponsored events between then and I guess about 2 weeks ago when I went to Jackson for the naming of the Businesswoman of the Year. And out of the 50, they did choose one. It was not me, which is okay.
We're still proud of
you.
Thank
you. But we had several cocktail and networking events that we went to, and just the sponsors did that for us. So it was just a nice time to get together. I have to mention something, and I should have brought this too. Shoot. One of the women being honored, and I'm not going to be able to pull her name, and I apologize for that, but made these beautiful necklaces out of glass. That's her business. She's an artist, and she makes glass sculptures. And she made us each a necklace that said Mississippi Top 50 Businesswoman in the glass, and it's so beautiful, so I'll share that with you. Yeah, it really was. So, I mean, there were just a lot of little details, and like I said, a lot of networking and good contacts, and
congratulations.
Thank you. It was fun.
I'm so excited that it was you. You
oh, thank you. Thank you.
Now, I learned some things about you last week that I did not know before. You're from Ohio.
I'm from Ohio originally.
Graduated from a college in Ohio.
Wittenberg University. Right. Go Tigers.
And LSU Tigers.
Yes. They're not far off.
But then you ended up in New York City.
I did.
Working in Mayor Giuliani's
administration.
And tell us what you did there.
I had the opportunity to work in one of his PR offices. I worked for the Department of Mental Health, Mental Retardation, and Alcoholism Services, and so we responded with press releases and other programs in those areas on behalf of the mayor. And in New York, there's a lot of opportunity to do that. So I learned so much in that job, Robyn. I learned how to team write, which I think is so important. I went in there the first time with my little press release that I had put out, and I was all ready, and I took it into a colleague who had been there, was very seasoned and very talented at his work. And I said, look what I've done. And he took that red pen. It was like being in first grade all over again. He just chopped it up, But the final product, because you think you do something great, and so I know that's a wonderful way to work, and we try to do that at our office now, and I try to incorporate that. Tell people, get the ideas down first, and the rest of it is easy. It's hard to get the ideas down. It's easy to make it better, to improve on it. So, but I learned a lot, and looked up to Giuliani. Didn't have a lot of direct contact with him, but we did a program called Youth Against Violence, Choose to Diffuse, and it was media series, radio, television, and so forth. And one of my biggest projects there was getting the video to play on the Sony Jumbotron in Times Square, and that was so cool because we had to get that time donated, and that was kind of my first foray into that type of thing, and that was a lot of fun. Working with the kids was good.
How did you end up with a job in New York City?
Oh boy, graduated college, got a position. The company was then downsized. I found myself back at home, out of college, not really where I wanted to be. I kind of had enough taste of freedom that I wanted to be back out there, and was waiting tables, and was at a friend's house, and she said, have this opportunity to go out to New York. My cousin lives out there, and she's got a little boy, but her nanny is going away just for 2 months, but she needs somebody. She couldn't go because she was taking classes, and said, would you like to go? And I said, it beats waiting tables, here. So I went, and great family, and she got me an interview in New York, and before I knew it, I was working in New York.
You were done with the nanny job.
Yeah, it was just a 2 months, do something. it's not, I felt I could get another.
So did you live in Manhattan?
I lived in Manhattan for the second 2.5 years. I was there for about 4.5 years. So I did.
And you took the subway?
I took the subway every day, and I took, when I lived north of the city, I took the train in every day to work, and did all the beat the pavement. I did for a certain amount of time. And I'd love to go back now just to kind of feel it all over again. But there's a great energy in that city. If you get on the right side, it's great. But it can wear on you a little bit. And I made a very conscious decision that I didn't want quite that big of a city, and I didn't want to settle there.
Yeah.
So
you left New York.
Left New York for another big city.
And you went to San Francisco.
Yep, across the country.
Okay, and what moved you to San Francisco?
As I was working with, it's very expensive to live in New York, and so even though I had,
and it's so much cheaper to live in San Francisco.
Yes, right? well, not really. I think it's just as expensive. Right. But anyway, I had the opportunity. I was looking for side work, and through somebody that I knew, I had the opportunity to be introduced to somebody that had a business doing tax incentives and helping people actually connect with businesses that can earn a tax credit if they hired somebody that was in a particular group. People on food stamps, people that live in a certain area, young people that are on welfare, or ex-felons, and so forth. So this was kind of a humanitarian way, had a humanitarian aspect to it that I enjoyed and I liked. And she was moving her business to the West Coast and said, would you like to come? And I said, yes, sign me up. I'm looking for a way out.
So you moved to San Francisco.
I did.
And then, didn't you start your own business while you were out there?
I worked with that individual for a while, and then branched off on my own, and worked as a consultant for major companies and helped them, one, decide where to locate based on some location-based tax incentives that are available. Really had some strong programs in California that were very beneficial. I don't know where they stand right now. California's in a tight spot, and I feel for them, but also hiring-based incentives that I mentioned before. And
so did you live in San Francisco?
I did. Post and Fillmore Streets.
Such an exciting life.
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
You really are.
I'm very lucky.
And then you met Jay.
I met Jay, who was in San Francisco. Yeah, this is my whole life story, but Jay was great. I met Jay, and he had this southern accent, just enough, and he worked with my roommate out in California. He had transferred from Jackson, Mississippi to San Francisco, and just for a change of pace, and really liked it out there as well. And we met and started dating. But then, of course, the .com crash happened. And with him being a computer specialist and computer programmer, it was really tough for him to find work out there. So he ended up in Vicksburg.
And he's originally from Natchez, right?
He's originally from Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge, okay.
And he's a Millsaps grad. So he had some connections here that had contract work at the Corps for him that would be, 4-week project, 2-month project, 6-month project. And so they just kept getting more and more steady. So he ended up over here, and then I came with him.
You're still in San Francisco.
I'm still in San Francisco, and he's here.
And that was hard. It
was hard. It really was. You know, I've told this story, and I guess it's okay to say, but I finally got to a point, because this went on for a long time, where I could come here, because I have my own business, I could come here for 2 or 3 weeks and spend time with him, but that gets old, and he could come out in between projects. But I said, I have 3 choices. I can end things and be miserable, because I really loved him. I can keep things the way they are and be miserable, or I can suck it up and move to Vicksburg. But remember, not because of Vicksburg, because Jay hadn't proposed yet at this point.
Right.
And I didn't know if I wanted to, move all the way from, San Francisco and my business all the way to Vicksburg to be someone's girlfriend, and not, I wanted a future. And so I told him in December I'm moving in March, because I had some clients that were coming up the end of their contract that I wasn't going to renew, and thought it was a good time to kind of break that. And he said, really? And I said, yeah, I'll be there in March. And so he proposed in February, and then I moved here in March. So we all lived happily ever after.
So New York, San Francisco, and Vicksburg. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think when you got here?
It took a while. It really did. It was fun, and there's so many great things about the South that we were exploring. The oak trees and the wilderness and the opportunity to do things that you just don't get in San Francisco. And the people were fun, and the food was so good. And that was first impressions, just meeting new people and having these new experiences. But I had some concerns. I mean, I had been a big city girl for a long time.
Yeah.
Combined.
Really, for all of your adult life.
Yeah.
After you graduated from college, pretty soon you end up in Manhattan.
Right. And so I was a little standoffish, maybe. And I didn't know if this was someplace I wanted to put down roots and really stay, or was Jay's consulting just going to be something and we should start looking somewhere else? I didn't know. So that's kind of where I started. It changed, and I shared this before, but when I had Lauren, things changed drastically. Lauren came 2 months early, and so there were some health concerns and so forth. She was in the NICU, and I remember, I don't have family here, and Jay's closest family was Natchez, and so I had this little itty-bitty little thing, his first-time mother, and I was scared, and I had a lot of people from the community that I had never even met, sending me cards, sending me prayer cards, we're praying for you. People from our own church coming to visit, bringing food, offering to drive me to Jackson. Really, you could feel just this wonderful support that I don't know, had I been in San Francisco, that I would have had maybe 1 or 2 close friends checking in on me. Right. I just don't know. But it was a wonderful thing, and it changed very quickly in my mind. My ideas about where I wanted to raise a family and what kind of people I wanted them to be around. And I fell in love with Vicksburg at a much different level than I had before.
It's a great community.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It is, and it's nice to be able to showcase so many people that are doing such great things, some very quietly, some more in the forefront than others. But you think of this big exciting life in Manhattan and San Francisco, and yet and I've heard you say this many times, you love this community.
Absolutely.
Your
I couldn't do, Robyn.
Love this community.
I couldn't do what I do if I didn't. You can't fake that. You can't go to the chamber every day and listen to issues, business issues or education issues or whatever, and find people, great volunteers. I couldn't do my chamber work if I didn't believe that. So.
Well, yeah, you're going out and selling Vicksburg.
Yep.
In many regards, you're going out and selling Vicksburg. Okay, now, there was a delegation of people that got on a plane and went to D.C. and kind of stormed the Capitol to try to get some
right.
for Vicksburg, and you were one of those.
I was. I've had the opportunity to go, I think it was 5 times now on this trip. Back when I worked for the city of Vicksburg, I got my first chance to go, and then I've gone, I think, 4 of the 5 years that I've been at the chamber. 1 year I was delivering a baby, so I didn't go. Which happened to be Lauren, and I didn't know that she was coming. But anyway, different story. We go up, we meet collectively, we put a list of items together, concerns, funding requests, maybe some, in the past we've had, a grant that was pending that we were applying for, and we wanted to check in on that, or we didn't get a grant, and we wanted to go find out why didn't we get that, and this is why it's important to us, and have that face-to-face. But our main objective is to go to our elected officials at the federal level and say, this is Vicksburg, these are our needs, and whatever you can do to help, this is why we need your help. And it's, I think, effective because, we take people from the city, from the county, from the Port Commission and EDF, from the Visitors Bureau, from Main Street, from the Southern Cultural Heritage Foundation, from
EDF being the Economic
Development Foundation, from businesses, concerned individuals went, of course the Chamber, and I don't want to leave anybody out, but if I did, I apologize. But we go up together, and we've had so many comments over the years of, hey, this is so nice, because a lot of communities go up individually. Right. City goes up and says, this is what we need.
County had a delegation.
We did, and it's a good opportunity for us, people in the delegation who always are, in meetings or something, to have a little bit of downtime, if you will, and dine together. Hey, you want to grab a cup of coffee and go back, or let's walk together. Just that little bit of time that you can be not in your role and get to know these people. It's a good time for bonding for that as well.
Do you feel like it was a successful trip?
That's a tough question. I think it's successful because we need to ask. If they don't know what we need, then we'll never get it. Okay? This year was particularly frustrating because of the situation with earmarks, and however they're going to revamp those. I feel they will come back in some way, shape, or form. But we had an earmark, for example, for some money that was going to go to replace the money that we spent on the Washington Street Bridge. But when they got rid of all the earmarks, that went away. So, small communities like Vicksburg need earmarks. I mean, that's my personal feeling. There's got to be more accountability for earmarks, and we aren't building bridges to nowhere to help somebody's uncle's construction company, those kinds of situations. But a success in that we were consistent, we did a reception, which is always very popular, and we helped to build those relationships so that we can continue to urge them along and lobby, if you will, for what we need. So.
Well, gosh, you do so much. I don't know how you even have time to sit down and read a book to your children, but you and Jay do so much in our community, and it's been really interesting to sit here and talk with you, and I thank you
so much
for all the things that you do. Congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you, Robyn. Thank you for having me.
What you do makes a difference in our community, and I thank you, Christi.
You are very welcome.